Hello and welcome to Earology. I'm sure you've all heard of foot reflexology, but we're going to be talking about ear reflexology. In the ear, there are 120 different acupuncture points. In fact, ear reflexology started in ancient Egypt, in which they used to pierce newborns' ears to ensure that they would grow up to be healthy and happy individuals. From there, it spread to India and China. And the Chinese used ear reflexology to treat colds and flu in infants. Now, in modern times, we use ear reflexology to create ear holes where we put jewels and other trinkets and ornaments in our ears to beautify ourselves. Well, the ancient Chinese pirates used the eye point so that they could see the ships on the horizon. And then that spread to pirates in the Mediterranean, and then that spread to pirates in the Americas. And that's why you see the pirates with the big gold hoop earrings. It wasn't an affectation, it was actually to increase their vision. Now, what we can do, we can look at a chart and we can see that all the spinal points are along the spine of the ear, and all the facial points are in the lobe of the ear. And the heart and lungs is in what we call the symboconchi, and the internal organs are all in what we call the cavum conchi. And we find the uterus and the prostate in the triangular fossa. Now, if we turned a picture of a fetus upside down and superimpose that on an ear, that would pretty much give us a visual of what that looks like. And I don't know if we can get a close-up here, but this is a picture of an ear with a fetus superimposed. And some of you got flyers when you came here. How many people got flyers when they came here? Okay? On the back of the flyer, there's two pictures of an ear with the points and the fetus. Okay? So it is important for us to understand that we can actually affect our internal with the ear. Now imagine that you've got a telephone coaxial cable with 100 different wires inside that cable. And those cables, those individual wires, go to everybody's apartment in the building you live in. Well, all these points on the ear acts like an antenna to the sky to pull in energy, and then it goes to all those different points on the body. Now this is pretty dramatic. I was in church the other day, and a woman sitting next to me was doubled over in pain. And I asked her what was wrong, and she said, you know, I don't feel good, but I feel embarrassed to tell you what it is. I said, you're having menstrual cramps? She says, oh, how did you know? And I stuck my fingernail right in the uterine point, and in less than 60 seconds, her cramps went away. Another time, I was in a restaurant, and there was a guy had a neck pain. He kept doing this at the table next to me. So I said, you're having neck pain, huh? So I took a toothpick off the table. I found the neck point on his ear. I pressed the toothpick into the neck point, and in less than 10 seconds, he's like, oh my God, the pain is gone. I don't believe this. So this is pretty dramatic. Now, is there anybody in the room that's got a pain, headache, shoulder, back? Where's your pain?
My shoulder went out this morning.
Your shoulder went out this morning, okay. Would you hand me a set of magnets, please? Would you like to come forward? Okay, stand right there. Now, which shoulder is it? The right shoulder, okay. Stand this way. Okay. Is that tender right there?
Mm-hmm.
Right there? You've got a lot of broken blood vessels in your ear. Okay? Thank you. Now what we have here is a probe attached to a magnet. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this probe to find the sore point on her ear that's connected to the shoulder. Is that tender there?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we've got a little magnet here. I don't know if you can see that. And there's another magnet here. And we're going to put this magnet in the front and this magnet in the back. There we go. Okay, you take a seat. And at the end, we'll see if her shoulder pain has actually gone away. Now, when we look at someone's posture and we see them all hunched over like this, we see that they're not giving themselves full lung capacity. And we all know that the air is polluted. So a very simple way you can increase your lung capacity is to stick your finger right in the cavum conchae. So everybody put both fingers, and we're going to do 30 circles forward. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, if you do this every single day, in a matter of days, you'll notice a difference in your breathing patterns. Okay? Now, above the cavum conchae is what we call the Simba conchae. Okay? This is the cavum conchae in here, and this is the bottom one is the cavum conchae, and this is where the heart and lungs are. So by doing a massage of 30 circles, we actually stimulated the heart and lungs. Now the internal organs are up here. So we have the bladder, the kidney, the pancreas, the small intestine, the large intestine, and the liver are all right in this little passage that we call the Simba conchae. Okay? And what I want you to do is 30 circles back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Is it on the inside of the ear?
Yes, right inside the ear. Just go back and forth, just like that. Okay, that's 30. Now you've just stimulated your internal organs. Now we're going to do our face. In the lobe of the ear, we have the eye, the mouth, the tongue, the throat, the internal ear, the tonsils, the teeth, and the jaw are all in the lobe of the ear. So we're going to pull the lobe of our ear 30 times. Now, in China, mothers pull the lobe of the ear of their infants when they have colds and flus. And they pinch that ear 60 times in order to break up the catarrh, the phlegm, and the mucus that's congesting the lungs. And it works. Question. What if you have asthma? Is that what you said? Okay, is asthma in the throat or is asthma in the lungs? Asthma's in the lungs, so we're going to do the other one for the lungs. Okay? It's clockwise forward. Okay? Now, the next part of the ear is the spine of the ear. And at the bottom, we have the neck, the shoulders, and we go mid-back, and at the top is actually the low back. So the spine of the ear is where we have our spine. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at the top, which is the low back, and we're going to massage down 30 times, from the top of the ear down to the bottom of the ear. Say again?
Feels good.
It feels good, yeah. Very nurturing, as if someone else was doing it to you, but you're doing it. It really feels good. It's a private pleasure. You know, and it's kind of hard to take your shoes and socks off in a public place and do foot reflexology, but you can do this to yourself anywhere and no one will look at you funny. They'll just think, oh, his ear must itch a lot. Okay. Do your ears feel warm? You feel blood rushing to your ear?
Yeah.
Okay, now, all of the blood in your body in 30 minutes goes through your ear. In 30 minutes, every single drop of your blood will flow through your ear. Now that's pretty darn interesting to me. Hemoglobin is the oxygen-carrying substance in the blood. The center of the hemoglobin molecule is what? Does anybody know? Is iron. Iron is the center of the hemoglobin molecule. Now, if you create a magnetic field around a blood vessel, what happens to the hemoglobin? It lines up like little soldiers. So if you put a magnet and put iron in a piece of paper and then put iron filings on the piece of paper, all of iron filings stand up straight. You remember high school science, right? Or junior high school science, was it? Okay, now, if you put a blood vessel, okay, you take a blood vessel and you put a magnet on each side of the blood vessel, then all the hemoglobin molecules line up in a row. Now, the hemoglobin molecule carries a hydroxyl, which is an OH molecule. And therefore, all the hydroxyl molecules line up, which forces everything else to line up as well. Now, you remember going up the steps of the subway, and if 6 people line up one after another, it forces everybody else to follow the same line. Am I right? Well, that's the same thing that happens in your blood. So when we use magnetic acupressure on the ear, what we're doing is forcing all the substance in the blood to come in order. So we create order out of chaos. So instead of your blood sloshing around like this, your blood is like this. Wow. Now, in your hands, you have healing energy. Some of you are aware of it, some of you are not. Now, you can increase the healing energy in your hands just by doing this. Come on, let's get a vigorous flow going. Vigorous, 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 vigorous. Now, cover your ears. Wow, does it feel hot? Feels hot. Okay, now this time we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to flip the ear forward. We're going to flap our ear forward. Wow, that feels hot, doesn't it? Feels good, feels nurturing. And say, I can't hear you. One more time. Now, did you hear the resonation in your head? You heard that, right? Now, when you combine the ear, covering the ear and creating a sound, what happens inside? What's going on internally? You're breaking up stagnation in your head because the ear is an antenna. It's like sonar, a radar to the world. It's like a magnet. It pulls energy into your head. You ever see a dog? When he hears something, what do his ears do? They perk up and they, okay? And what do we do? Okay? So if you could see inside your ear, there's a little spiral. And inside the bottom of the spiral, there's a pool. And in that pool, there's a little tiny thing that sits in the water. Okay? So the sound spirals down, and then it blows a wave across that fluid, and then that little thing that's sitting on top then translate that sound into little digital ones and zeros, which then gets filed away in your memory bank. Wow. Your ear is a magnificent piece of equipment. But we're not taught how to take care of our ears. And therefore, some people, when they get older, they get...
Hearing loss.
Whoa, what'd you say? Speak up, I can't hear you. They get hard of hearing.
Also, they get ringing in the ears.
And they get ringing in the ears. So this will actually prevent you from getting hard of hearing or ringing in the ears. This is preventive medicine, okay? Now,
how do you prevent?
Let me finish. Yes, this is being taped. This is called the triangular fossa. Inside the triangular fossa is something called Shenmen, or spirit gate. It is a main point that balances all the energy in the body. But on the back end of that is the uterus, the point for lowering blood pressure, the hemorrhoid, and an asthma point, and a constipation point, and a sciatic point are all inside that little triangular fossa. So when women have menstrual cramps or men have prostate problems, we can do 30 circles inside the triangular fossa. Here's the triangular fossa. Okay? Wow. Didn't know there were so many different parts of the ear. Now, another interesting part of the ear, question.
Conscious of various pain points.
Okay, be conscious of that, because we're going to get to the pain points in a few minutes. Now, this is called the flap of the ear, okay? Now, this flap of the ear contains the adrenal point, the hunger point, and the thirst point. Now, the thirst point is when you are not thirsty, and the hunger point is when you are not hungry, okay? Let me make that clear. Because some people think, oh, it's the thirst point, or it's the hunger point is going to take my hunger away. No, it's going to make you hungry. That's when you have no appetite. It's for people who are anorexic. So, okay, this is called the tragus, the flap of the ear, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to pinch that 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I was doing this to you, you would be on a table, lying face up, and I'd be massaging your ears. When I get to this point on you, you're going to do like this. You get completely blissed out if you do this properly. Now, opposite the tragus is called the antitragus, because it's opposite. And that's this little flap right here in the ear. Okay, here's the tragus, the flap, and here's the antitragus. Guess what's in the antitragus? The brain. That's where all your thoughts come from. So, if we pinch, that is the brain point, it's the internal secretion point, all your endocrine glands, it's the occipital point, all the points in the back of your neck, it's the headache point, it's the stiffness point. So now we're going to pinch that 30 times because we want to increase our memory, increase our brain. Brain power. No, it's on the outside of the ear. It's the flap. Okay? Tragus, antitragus. Okay? I suggested to you, everybody who came in, to sit in the first 3 rows so I could hear you. So the people in the back row, I can't hear you. So, pinching that will stimulate the brain. Okay? Now, the last part of the ear is called the helix. That's the outer rim of the ear. Okay? The helix is the only safe place that you can pierce your ears. And how many people pierce their ear right in here? This is called the scaphoid fossa. Okay? And therefore, the wrist, the elbow, the appendix, the shoulder, the clavicle, all those points in there get pierced. And guess what happens to the energy? Instead of the energy flowing like this, the energy flows like this. It scatters the point, so I can't really zero in on where the point is. So therefore, I have to use massage or magnets instead of an acupuncture pin. okay? Now, to give you a little bit of background about me, I graduated from acupuncture school in 1980. I got a job at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx doing drug detox with ear acupuncture. So from 81 to 82, I did ear acupuncture on drug addicts. Now, they had other problems besides drug addiction, so we ended up treating them for everything. And between three of us, we used to treat 240 patients a day with ear acupuncture every day for 10 days. So we got instant feedback on whether what we were doing worked. I developed the weight loss program for Lincoln Hospital because I was the first one to utilize this on the staff, okay? So here we are using needles on people, but people have to come to me. And I said, how can I get this to a wider audience? How can I get them to treat themselves? So I came up with an innovation of magnet therapy. Now, we used to tape the magnet to the front of the ear, but people with hair grease and sweat and perspiration and humidity, the tape would slip. So I came up with the bright idea of putting a magnet on the back of the ear. So I created a clamp that would do the front and the back of the ear. And that was the innovation that worked. So now I'm teaching everyone how they can treat their own ear as opposed to coming to me for treatment. Now, I've written a book called Ear Acupuncture, Ear Acupressure, and this is a galley copy. This is the first copy off the press. Unfortunately, the printer didn't get them to me in time, but we can place orders for the book, and we also have ear magnets that you can look at. Now, to answer the question about how is this preventive medicine, can somebody answer her question? You can't answer the question? By doing the massage every single day, you're stimulating the flow to all those organs. Therefore, the organs are constantly being nurtured, and therefore they will not break down. Does that make sense? Now, I went to a cardiologist, and I showed him this, and I said, if I put a magnetic field around a blood vessel, guess what does not happen? Plaque does not form on the inside of the blood vessel. Now, we did this with a water tower. I'm sure you've seen these giant water towers. Once a year, they drain the water out and they scrub the inside of the water tower and all the pipes because this gunk, this buildup, coats the pipe. Well, they took a 5-inch magnet, bar magnet, and put it on both sides of the pipe going up to the water tower. A year later, they drained the water, no gunk. Wow, how could that be? Well, some bright car engineer picked up on it, and the race car engines, they put magnets on the fuel injectors. No gunk on the inside of the race car engine. Then some bright MD in LA, when one of the Lakers broke his leg, they put bar magnets on the leg, and instead of taking 6 weeks to heal, it only took 3 weeks to heal. So we know that magnetic fields speed up the healing process. What I'm suggesting to you is that by creating friction in your hands become magnets. And by you rubbing your own ears after having done the friction, you are magnetizing your own ear and increasing the flow of blood, increasing the amount of oxygen, and preventing plaque from forming. Now, guess what happens if you don't have plaque in your blood? Guess what you don't get? Heart disease, heart attacks. So I went to a cardiologist, I showed him all the information, and I said, okay, now I'm going to put a magnetic field, I'm going to put a blood vessel here. Will you do a test? We'll take somebody who actually has plaque, and we'll do the magnets for 30 days, and then we'll go back and test the blood. Well, he did that with one of his patients, and he said, this is so great, but I can't promote this. I said, why not? He said, because the county medical board will take my license. I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to be the MD that comes out and says that magnets can prevent heart disease? Are you kidding me? They'll run me out of town on a rail. So here, I've been to 3 different cardiologists now who verified what I'm saying, but will not publicly endorse it because they're afraid of losing their license. So I am not on a limb here. I know that putting magnets in your ear for an hour every day will prevent heart disease and stimulate all of the organs in your body. Okay? Any questions? We're being videoed, so if you have any objection, stay out of the line. Stand up. If you're going to ask a question, you got to stand up.
It doesn't have to do with heart disease, but is there a point in particular for the thyroid?
Yes, there is a point for the thyroid, and that's right here. That's right on the antitragus. Okay? Next question. Stand up.
Do you put magnets on each one of the points, or is there one central point that you could put a magnet that would nourish the whole?
Good question. There is a 0 point, which is in between the stomach and the liver. And we call that point 0. That is a main balancing point. And then Shen Men is also a main balancing point. So what I typically do is I put Shen Men in one ear and the pain point in the other. Or I put the 0 point in one ear and the pain point in the other, and then I reverse them. Okay? So I typically write out a treatment protocol. Now in the book, I have 30 different conditions listed. I've got stop smoking, weight loss, nervous anxiety, stress, jet lag, fatigue, pain, prostate, menopause, hair loss, ear ringing, hepatitis, constipation, sore throat, nasal problems, anti-aging, facial beauty, acne, digestion, vision and hearing, motion sickness, heel pain, TMJ, hiccup, heartburn, mental stress, excessive sweating, ulcers, asthma, diabetes, high blood pressure, insomnia, and drug addiction. So those are the conditions that I have actually had success with. But there are 500 conditions that this would be appropriate for. Okay? You want to tell us what's happening with your shoulder? Starting to feel better? Okay. All right, question.
We talked about increasing the flow of energy by using acupressure points.
Right.
Is there a way to actually decrease the flow? Because it's overactive area of the body. You will have less energy.
Okay, explain to me what overactive means.
You know, in your digestive area, you have a lot of energy in that area of the body, and you want to actually slow that energy down, not increase it anymore. So there's a way with reflexology to actually reverse the flow of energy, make it less.
Meditate. All you got to do is meditate.
We can't hear.
The question was, is there a way to reverse the flow of energy? And I said no. The only way to reverse energy is to meditate. Okay? Question.
I've heard about ear candling.
Ear candling. Okay, I don't want to talk about ear candling because that is putting a vacuum suction on the inside of the ear. Okay? That's not appropriate for this discussion. Okay?
Where do you work your ear to do something about the ringing in the ear?
You do the whole ear.
The whole ear.
This is what you do, front, and then flip it backward, and then you do the entire ear. Okay? Now, at your age, with ringing in the ear, that has to do with that fluid dries up. It gets hard. It gets stuck. So what we have to do is increase the fluid. So you've got to drink more water and do the massage twice a day as opposed to once a day. And there is a treatment for ear ringing in the book. Okay? All right, now we're going to do show and tell with the ear magnets. Okay? I need 3 people who want to try the ear magnets. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Didn't see me.
I didn't see you. I blanked out. Okay. Okay, come forward. What's the nature of your problem?
Headache.
You have headaches. Okay, right-sided, left-sided?
It's like in the front of my,
Okay. Okay.
What were you looking?
Diagnosing, well, the face is in the lobe of the ear, so that's why I asked her where the headache was. Her ear is completely red because she's been massaging it. So I lost my diagnostic advantage because she's already massaged the ear, okay? So what I'm doing, I'm looking at the lobe of the ear for any redness, swelling, discoloration, pimples, dryness, broken blood vessels, for any kind of an anomaly in the ear, okay? Okay? All right, you stand up. Okay, come around here. And what's your problem?
Ringing.
Ringing in the ears.
Yes, and loss of hearing.
Okay. So, oh, that's simple.
Oh, yeah.
Ringing in the ears is kidney. Does that hurt right there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have a seat. And young lady in the red. Okay.
Overall balance.
Okay, overall balance, she said.
Yes.
Okay, we'll do Shin Men. Okay, and the gentleman.
Back.
Your back is bothering you, okay? You can turn around this way. Low back? Yeah. Is that tender right there? A little bit. Okay, turn around. Tender there? Yeah. Okay. So what I saw on his ear, I'm not finished. So what I did is I used this as a probe. I probed the spinal area. I found a point, I found a mark on the spine of the ear that corresponds to the low back. I found the same point on both sides, but the left side was more tender than the right side. So I'm choosing the left side of the ear to put this on. Okay. All right, how does that look? Can you get a close-up of that? That looks pretty good. Okay. Question. You do have to do both ears, but for demonstration purposes, we're just doing one ear. Okay. And you wanted... Your throat is bothering you. Ooh, okay. Now, can you get a close-up of her ear? Okay, we see a very small ear, and we see a split in the ear. Can you get the picture of that split? Can everybody see her ear? I know you need a magnifying glass. The throat is right in the lobe of the ear, and her ear is split right there. So that would be a very obvious reason why she's got throat problems. How long has that been bothering you?
Just a day or so.
Just a day or so, okay. Now, I neglected to mention that the lobe of the ear also reflects your constitution. Who knows what constitution is? Your overall health, okay? Your ability to overcome disease, okay? Your immune function, okay? If you have large ears, it means that you've inherited a lot of ancestral energy. If you have small ears, it means you've inherited weak ancestral energy. And if you've got small lobes, it means your constitution is not very strong. What's your name?
April.
April, okay? I don't mean to embarrass you, April, but... Okay. All right, now, what I'm gonna do, before I do that, which side hurts more? Okay, right side hurts more. And what I did is I just plucked this muscle in the front to see where the sore throat was. The right side hurts more, and that's why I'm choosing. I mean, it's obvious to me that the split lobe is where the problem is. But she said, maybe you could treat my left ear. But I just checked the throat, and the throat confirmed the fact that it was the right. Okay. So now, how do we use ear magnets? We have the probe because you can't see your ear, and therefore you use the probe to find the diagnostic points on your ear. So in the book, it says self-diagnosis. Now either use a mirror or you have someone help you, and you probe the point on your ear, and then you mark it here. And then you flip back to the anatomy and physiology point of the book, in which you can find the points that correspond to where your pain point was. And then you can, once you find the point with the probe, then you turn it around and put the magnet in the front, and then you put the other little magnet on the back, and that creates a clamp. Now the acupuncture point itself is only 1 millimeter big, but these ear magnets are 4 millimeters. So the magnetic field will expand and pull in all of the acupuncture points around it. So you can't make a mistake. You can't put it on the wrong point. Okay? And that's what magnets are actually more accurate than the needle. So it's stronger, it's more accurate, and it creates an acupressure on the point. Okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to pass around the sign-up sheet, okay? And anyone who has any questions can ask them at this time.
What is your sign-up sheet for?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. If you want to do I'm going to be teaching a workshop in certifying people in doing this technique, Sunday, November 16th from 9 to 3. So anyone who's interested in becoming certified or learning more in how to do the ear reflexology, they can sign the sign-up sheet. Okay? How many people are interested in learning how to do it for themselves, or wanting to do it for others, or okay? I would imagine that everyone would want to learn how to do it for themselves, right? Or you can't hear me, right? She's hard of hearing, okay? Okay, you had a question in the back. No question. Okay. Okay. Yes, you do that twice a day. Okay, now this is part of a larger thing called Dao Yin. Dao Yin is a self-massage which is part of Qigong. I happen to be a Qigong master, and this is one part of Qigong, is learning how to massage your ears, which then increases the general flow of energy through the body. Okay? So the magnets are a way of treating specific things for an hour every day, and you can do it for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, or however long until your problem is solved. Okay? Okay? So we're going to take a break right now, and if anybody's interested in signing up or getting more information, you can see Asantwa in the back of the room.